So the 2023 NFL Draft is officially in the books. The Panthers, of course, traded up to number 1 like months before the draft and took Bryce Young last Thursday. Very, very interesting choice. He would have been my choice as well. I think he's going to be a very good NFL quarterback, but we'll see how it goes, and we'll go ahead and kind of simulate that over the course of this Panthers rebuild. Took Jonathan Mingo in round 2, a big receiver out of Ole Miss. Round 3 had DJ Johnson, who's a bit of an older prospect, but a really, really good athlete. Maybe you're shooting for his upside there in the 3rd. Chandler Zavala in round 4, I think could end up being a starting guard. And then Jamie Robinson, kind of like a hybrid nickel safety, rotational player probably for the Panthers out of Florida State. It was an interesting draft class and offseason for them, to say the least. New head coach in Frank Reich. And let's go ahead and get into this team and try to make them the focal point and the best team clearly in the NFC South. Right now, it is close. Not a super talented division at the moment, but we're hopefully going to go ahead and dominate with this team over the next few years. So the nice part about the draft being over for these rebuilds is the fact that I don't have to be in this weird in-between where we just have to pretend that 2022 is both 2023 and 2022 simultaneously. Very weird. If you watch the other rebuilds, you know what I'm talking about. It was like Schrodinger's rebuild. But for those who have no idea what I'm talking about, basically, it was just a weird in-between where you had the free agent moves and then the entirety of the 2022 season. The only way you could really do it is start at the beginning of the season with the custom roster. But now we have the rookies like Bryce Young, and I'll be changing their dev traits and things like that. You can't do it in the main menu. I downloaded the updated 22 roster on Xbox, and what I'll usually do is update each team the way I see fit as we go through. I'm not going to do it all at once. I'm not the Madden roster guy. I like to do the draft class at the start of the year for you guys, but I'm not going to invest 2 or 3 days of grinding out a roster. I'm just not going to do it at this point. I'm sorry. I'm not I'm not your little worker bee. But what I will say is I am going to give Bryce Young superstar dev. I'll probably give Jonathan Mingo star, and I think maybe Chandler Zavala star as well. Outside of that, DJ Johnson, I'll probably keep normal. I'll probably keep Jamie Robinson normal. And it's not that they're bad players. It's just not everybody could be star. And it's kind of fun for these rebuilds to kind of treat some of these draft picks like they can be stars and like they can develop, though. So we're just going to pretend that 2022 here is 2023. And I don't think I'm going to be using any 2024 draft class for that. So we're not going in with Caleb Williams and Drake May. It's just too far out. So auto-generated draft classes will be the way to go. And let me go ahead and introduce you to the rookies a bit more. So I definitely did have to make some adjustments, and the ratings aren't going to be like perfect, right? It's tough to know what EA is actually going to give these guys, but you know, just kind of from how I feel about the player, I'm sure it's going to be fairly similar to my actual draft class. But Bryce Young, gave him 90 throw power. I think that could go up to, you know, the mid-90s by the time we're done with this rebuild. I had it at 91, which I think is fair. He's got a really solid arm, but I brought it down a little bit. I don't want him to be an 80 like plus super freak overall, even though he was the number 1 overall pick. Speed could probably come down a tad, though, I'll say that. But it doesn't really factor in simulation too much anyway. Superstar dev, I think, is fair. Number 1 overall pick in the draft for a reason, and QB1. Jonathan Mingo, and he had 78 throw power in the updated 22 class in the file share. 78. Terrible. Jonathan Mingo, you know, maybe gave him a little bit too much speed, but I think 90 is reasonable. Overall, he could be a potential starter for us. Only 21 years old. We're probably going to play him a lot right away. He's not a slot type, but it's all right. We're going to play him over DJ Chark. And then, as I mentioned, Zavala, I want to give star dev to. Got to make sure these contracts are all good as well. It's tough with the experience and whatever. I changed the colleges to make it right, but you know, until Madden 24 comes out, we're kind of just at, you know, the mercy of the game a little bit, and that's probably even cheaper than his actual contract. But it's a 4th round pick. It's not going to be too crazy anyway. Will I start him over Brady Christensen? We definitely could. I'll probably keep him as a backup for this first year and then take it from there. And then DJ Johnson cannot start at outside linebacker for me. He's really an edge. I don't think they're going to want to play him off the ball. We have Frankie Louvu, Shaq Thompson. Brandon Smith is another great athlete. They're building up a really athletic team. On the interior of the defensive line, I like Derek Brown, but Henry Anderson needs to be better. We all know how I feel about Brian Burns. I think he's an incredible player, and he's going to be the focal point of our defense. He's going to put up big numbers for us, I think. And then the corners are pretty good. Not phenomenal, but pretty good. I like Dante Jackson. J.C. Horn, I think, is really good. C.J. Henderson has potential, just hasn't really showed it yet, at least consistently. And then an interesting signing was Von Bell. That's right. So where does Jeremy Chin go? We could play him at free safety over Xavier Woods, or we could move Jeremy Chin to linebacker, which I think makes sense. He's 220 pounds, kind of think of him as like a dime backer, the money backer, as it's called sometimes. And he's probably going to start at right outside linebacker, eventually play Mike for us, and then also be a sub-package linebacker in here alongside Shaq Thompson. That's what I think is going to happen. Chin eventually will move over because I don't think Shaq is in our long-term plans. And we'll see how it goes. I think the team looks pretty good. And in a weaker division, I don't see any reason why we can't win the division. Miles Sanders, a new addition as well. Adam Thielen was signed. You know, there is some talent here. Terrace Marshall, I feel like he's going to play a lot next year, and it's not rated super highly. I actually don't even know where he is. Where is Terrace Marshall? Hayden Hurst, also a free agent acquisition by the Panthers. They've done a pretty good job of getting reliable options in front of Bryce Young. Thielen, I don't think he's a world beater at this point, but he's fine. And then Hayden Hurst, kind of along the same lines. DJ Chark, injuries are a bit of a concern, but I think good player overall. And then Marshall, I don't know what to do, dude. I mean, we just have, like, I don't want to say a bunch of mid at the receiver position, but it's kind of like the Giants in a way, where they've got a lot of guys who are similarly skilled, and it's tough to know who to play out of those. I'm going to have Mingo, Marshall, Thielen can still be number one, fine. And then Chenault, Chark, Preston Williams. Yeah, probably do that. And we'll simulate to the midseason mark and see how this team's doing in year number one. If you guys are interested in these type of videos, I know this one's a little bit more long-winded to start, but I'll be posting a lot more rebuilds with these draft classes coming up soon. So be subscribed, and you won't miss out. And the NFC South is very interesting. So you have the Falcons at 6-1. We are 5-2. Bucks struggling. Okay, so the records seem a little bit crazy, but you never know what's going to happen, especially with schedules and stuff. I haven't seen all of them. I know the Texans have an easy schedule in the AFC South. It's kind of like the only schedule I've seen, or at least opponents list. Falcons are 6-1. I don't know that they do that, but it's not like incredibly unreasonable that this is how things would be ordered at some point. Saints, I could see at 3-4. Bucks, I think, could really struggle. The Panthers and the Falcons, I could easily see as 1 and 2 in the division, depending on what happens. So I don't think it's entirely unreasonable. Draft class, as I mentioned, is going to be auto-generated for these, which I think is more fun in these rebuilds anyway. And we see what type of awesome auto-generated prospects we find. And, it represents more of a challenge to find those beasts. And it's going to be nice to totally ignore the quarterback position. Everything else, I think, is kind of on the table, though. I could even consider taking a running back and keeping one local from South Carolina, going right up the road. Although, interesting. Great to elite, change of direction and acceleration. Juke moves really bad. Still probably going to be a decent player, but yeah, taking a running back round 1 with Miles Sanders seems unlikely, although not impossible. And there are a lot of running backs in this class. Oh my goodness. So many running backs. Marcus Cheeks might not be Cheeks. He seems like he could be okay. And that's maybe somebody that could fall. Here we go. Great to elite, change of direction and speed at tight end. He's got a break tackle, spectacular catch, run block catching, deep route running. Round 1 to 2 projection. He's only 6'2", but 250 pounds. That's the guy. That's my move tight end, my H-back, my just plug and play starter, really is what it amounts to in Madden. I think our offensive line's pretty good. Ike Ekwonu, Taylor Moton. Our tackles are really just fine. So I don't really know that I need to do a ton on these tackles. Center, we could definitely consider just because these are usually where the good prospects are in the Madden draft classes. Chris Stafford seems like he could be a very, very good option for us. And down the board, if I don't draft Chris Stafford, I'm probably doing it wrong. Rodney Patrick also looks very good. We could just totally go interior offensive line down the board and just revamp the unit. Now, here is the problem with the draft coming up. Decent pass blocker for sure. Is we actually don't have our first round pick. I've got to trade it away. That's property of Chicago. And again, we're treating 2023 like it's 2024 for the draft. So it is the number 9 pick. They've already used that, so that's not relevant. Number 26 here is going to be the Panthers' first rounder in 2024, and then a second rounder in 2025, which is essentially this pick for our purposes, and DJ Moore. So what we'll get back from the Bears is just a 7th round pick next year, something that completely doesn't matter. Or I'll do they only have a 6th? All right. We'll do the 6th round pick. It doesn't really change too much for us, and just know that's what's going on. So because of our lack of top-end draft picks, we're going to have to do a good job down the board. I looked a little bit at the class. I would say, 80% kind of a glance. And a lot of them are kind of round 1 to 2 fringe anyway. So I think we're going to be in a pretty good position. As long as we can just improve somewhere, we're going to be in a good spot. And that, even though Bradley Bozeman's really good in real life, he's not rated super high in the game. So he's an upgradable position for me. So we actually went 12-5 in year 1. The Bucs turned it around. You guys see the records on screen here? That's slightly better. And again, it's a lot of wins for this division, but it's not unreasonable that this would be the order that it finishes in. And it'll be an interesting season for sure. Bryce Young passes for over 5,000 yards as a rookie, 38 touchdowns to only 13 interceptions. That would be a phenomenal rookie year, and that might even be an understatement. Miles Sanders was very, very solid overall, 4.1 yards per carry. Is pretty good on 328 attempts. Not amazing, but I'm assuming he put up unbelievable receiving numbers as well. And yeah, pretty much the case. 660 yards receiving on 62 catches. Hayden Hurst was pretty good. Jonathan Mingo, great rookie year. Terrace Marshall was awesome. Adam Thielen put up a career year. 1,200 yards receiving and 14 touchdowns. Defensively, Shaq Thompson was all over the place, 142 tackles, 5 for loss, although Brian Burns led the way with 13, 10 for Derek Brown and Yetur Gross-Matos. Sacks, 11.5 for Burns, only 1 into double digits. Brown was next with 7, and then interceptions, barely any for the entire team, a staggeringly low number. That's 4, that makes 6. That's very, very, very bad. But with the division win and no wild card game, we have got the first round bye straight to the divisional, and we'll be taking on a division rival, the Atlanta Falcons. We will host them. They're only an 81 overall. We're only an 82 overall. And we are headed home. 24-21. The Falcons knock us out. I wasn't going to jump in year 1. This is a rebuild for a reason. They're not in a terrible spot, to be honest. But, too early to jump in. And let's go ahead and get into free agency in the draft, see what type of talent we can add, and hopefully it's enough to do what the Falcons just did and win the Super Bowl. Oh my goodness. Bryce Young was Offensive Rookie of the Year. Will McDonald, I don't know why he would be on the Rams. Did the Jets drop him and the Rams signed him and he won Defensive Rookie of the Year? That's brain dead. I'll have to confirm that the roster creator didn't just make a mistake, but that could be what happened, which would be crazy. But again, they don't know that he's a highly valuable first-round pick because what you do is you create a random player or change a random player and throw them onto the team. They don't get their contract. They don't get the first-round draft designation. They don't get a development trait. So maybe the CPU just thought he was bad, and then the Rams signed him, and he won Rookie of the Year. I don't know what happened. Very bizarre. Mike Hughes wins Super Bowl MVP. Jalen Hurts, League MVP. And the Falcons, of course, win the Super Bowl. Very interesting first year. I think Russell Wilson getting to the Super Bowl would be a surprise based on his 2022 play. But if he can figure it out and play well in 2023, it's not actually unbelievable. The Broncos have some talent on the roster. Bryce Young is up to Superstar X Factor, and he really should be like a field general type or improviser more so than a strong arm, but the throw power goes up. He gets an ability slot, do field general as well. Again, playing temporarily up to an 89. His accuracy continues to improve, although not amazing in the short range. We're definitely going to give him like a throwing ability here. Let's do, I mean, I always go Gambit. Why not? As for players to re-sign here before we hit free agency, nobody of particular interest to me, to be honest. Giovanni Ricci would like to be here. He's got quite a pronounced second forehead there. That's interesting. But we'll go ahead and move on here. Free agency is going to be interesting. If the player we already know has signed a long-term contract with another team, I'm not going to pursue them. But there definitely could be some of those guys in free agency. Wouldn't entirely shock me. Although, not really seeing any of those guys. You know, some players, I think, by the time you're watching this, could have signed a deal like Miles Jack. I don't know that he's not going to be on a team for the 2023 season. It'll be interesting to see who signs him. Giants have some more cap space now. But I don't really think I'm too interested in anyone here. We'll just save our money and just look toward the draft. No first-round pick, unfortunately. We know why. But I think we can still look to make the most of our NFL draft time. We don't pick for a while. Now, we might end up moving up. That's what you do for good players. Having the draft picks is nice. But having really good players, I think, is going to be a little bit more valuable than the theoretical players. And I did my focus points on Austin Wayne, on Rodney Patrick, who I definitely like a lot, and on Austin Lowe. I wish I had any of those guys at 100% to see their true talent within the actual draft class. But it's going to be tough to say whether or not we should trade up for a tight end. If Austin Lowe is there at 20, I think I could be talked into it. But it's going to cost a lot to move up all that way, especially when we know we want to draft at least one interior offensive lineman down the board. And that's kind of where the value is for me. Another tight end. A couple of linebackers here that look pretty good. Lowe is supposed to go at 32, or that's his ranking within the class. Could be earlier, could be later. If he's there at 20, I'll certainly consider it because Hayden Hurst, I would say, is fine. But this tight end could be better than fine, which would be obviously really nice. You're aiming for star or better development. But I think he just meets, first of all, a youth profile that Hayden Hurst simply can't. He was like a 25-year-old rookie first-round tight end. Kind of insane when you think about it. He played minor league baseball. That's why he was a little bit older. But here's the thing. If we can get someone who is young and -7 overall, but like 7 years younger, it would be worth it, I think. They'll earn... I would say these guys probably wouldn't take a tight end. They might, though, so we might just miss out. I would say the younger players earning development, obviously depending on the trade, but earning XP for their development is going to be super, super important compared to Hayden Hurst, who's really just never going to get better. So I'm kind of talking myself into a trade up. We'll call Buffalo, see what the price is. It says we need interior offensive linemen, which I could see why they would say that. But we're going to try and make a move up here. So we pick at number 59, 123. Oh, we really just don't have a lot. Would we trade somebody like Brady Christensen? Also, Zavala is surely not 25. I didn't remember to change these ages because you can't do it outside of the franchise. You can only do it in the actual franchise. Zavala is surely not 25, but I'm not trading him anyway. No, I guess he would be at this point. He's 24 in real life. Old rookie. That's probably why he goes a little later. Okay, making a very interesting trade to start things off. It's my 2024 first rounder. We're going all in now, pretty much. So it's projected to be at number 6, but we just went 12-5. So it really shouldn't be that high. I'm trading a 4th this year and a 7th this year as well. In return, I'm getting number 22 from Buffalo. I'm getting number 54, and I'm getting a 3rd-round pick from them next year. So again, unfortunately, trading our 1st-round pick, but we don't have a 2nd next year. So getting a 3rd next year, I think, is going to be pretty good. And I'm moving up for a less valuable position. I get it. But a player that I think is going to be pretty good for us, and that is going to be Austin Lowe. Now, there are a couple of tight ends in front that maybe I could roll the dice a little bit. Maybe I traded up a little bit too early. But I don't really want to risk getting drafted in front of us. There are good linebackers to fall back on if we went that way. But we traded up to this spot. We're just going to take we're going to take the player we moved up for. It's Austin Lowe from Michigan State. Welcome to Carolina. Of course he has normal development, because why wouldn't he? Looks like a very good athlete, though. 87 acceleration and speed, 85 agility and change of direction. But yeah, anyone who I ever want to draft is going to have normal development, obviously. That's just how that goes. Chris Stafford really went the pick ahead of us in round 2. You got to be kidding me, dude. They always know who I want. Always. We have 2 players left on my board. It's Morgan McCain, who's a slot receiver, who, I mean, maybe could be good. Not the best athlete. Short route running, I bet, is an A. He's really just a true slot receiver. I'm going to pass. I'm going to draft Rodney Patrick from Penn State. 6'3", 300, only 21 years old. Looks to have very good key ratings, is a phenomenal athlete. Definitely not a bad interior offensive lineman to draft. Hidden development, thankfully. Always nice on the interior of the offensive line, or offensive line in general. Great strength and acceleration and speed. Looks to be one of the better center prospects I've ever seen. The power isn't great, but I don't know that that's going to matter a whole ton. And then I'll trade away this pick for a second round next year. A bunch of teams are offering. I think I'm going to go ahead and accept it from Indianapolis and just hope that they're very, very bad. So we don't have a first round pick next year, but we do have a couple of, or at least 1 second now. And that's going to be the draft. I know 1 or 2 players, kind of disappointing. Not a super, high quality. But we just missed out on that center. The tight end is normal dev, because of course he does. I don't think all that bad of a draft, though. We'll see. Draft recap. How'd we do? 73 overall tight end. That's not terrible. That's -7 overall, like I talked about, to Hayden Hurst's 80. It's just normal dev is kind of annoying. Overall, not really a bad player. End has all the traits you could want. Aggressive catch, possession catch, run after catch, fights for yards. Everything. Just normal development, which is annoying. And then a 75 overall center is phenomenal. I think purely on the basis of being an incredible athlete, his overall is really boosted. But there are some good, abilities there too. Run block's going to be at a 79. Pass block 75. Obviously, morale's fracturing in a little bit for some reason. Let's see how he did in comparison to the rest of the league. First overall pick was a 73. Couple of 78s at the top. There's Bobby Dixon, the South Carolina running back I talked about. Overall, there's the other running back. Overall, I don't really think we did too badly. Rodney Patrick being a 75 is crazy. Where's Stafford? The other center, I would have bet would have been around the same. It's a different center. Did I pass him, or is he just a 72 overall or something? He's a 72, which still would have been good. I still would have been really happy with that. Seems to be a pretty good athlete as well. 6'3", 314. Don't be superstar. Just be star, and I'm fine. All right, that's fine. So Patrick starts at center. Brady Christensen, I'll still have at left guard. Could be Zavala at this point. And then, oh yeah, Tommy Tremble exists, who, we have Ian Thomas. Ian Thomas is not going to make the team for me in this one. A penalty of $11.5 million. How's that even possible? What is your contract that would possibly be the case? We keep Ian Thomas, I guess. Ian Thomas, you are now the highest paid fullback in the NFL. Congratulations on the big deal. I want Lowe to get more playing time. It's really looking like a bust. We're going to start him. And then Tommy Tremble. Hayden Hurst had a pretty good year. Not spectacular or anything. Mingo, receiver 2. Terrace Marshall, receiver 3. And then I know I haven't really talked a ton about Laviska Shenault. What's there to say? He's fine. Who knows? Maybe with Frank Reich, he can really take off. I guess there's potential for that. Safeties stay the same. The defense is unchanged for the most part. Shai Tuttle just starts now at defensive tackle 2. And of course, who could forget John Pinacini, Lions franchise legend. I'll probably play Jonathan Mingo in the slot and then TJ Henderson in the nickel. I think that's what we'll do. Frankie Louvu as an edge. All right. I always like to see wide receiver as a strength of the class. Surely there's got to be a scout with wide receiver and corner as a 3-star. I mean, that just has to exist. Now, Doug Baldwin is 2-star. And Alicia Trenkle is exactly what I'm looking for. So we'll hire them. I don't want to make any assumptions. We'll go national. Show me a generational receiver. I don't see anyone near the top, which is a little concerning. 6'4", 216, though. That could fit the profile. All right. We might still draft a receiver. I know we have talent there a little bit, but it's not going to stop me from doing what I want and getting like a true superstar wide receiver if that's an option. Enrique Carmichael could be the one, though. I know he is great to elite speed as a speed rusher, right? Or actually, we don't know he's a speed rusher. But at 6'5", 254, he's not going to play off the ball. So, I mean, we'll see. But probably a speed rusher. Now, the question then becomes, how do I get a first-round pick? The answer probably revolves around Shaq Thompson. Just probably what happens. Could trade him. Don't think we can get a first-round pick outright. But it would help us get closer. And 6-1 at the midseason mark. Always nice to see. 84 overall is what we're up to now. We're trucking along. And let's go ahead and see if I am right. He is a speed rusher, top 5 in the class. A pursuit, B tackle, is already 23. The great to elite speed, though, I really, really like. And then, A pursuit, A to C finesse, and power moves. Although I'm not sure that's going to stay like that. Enrique Carmichael could be worth taking very high in the draft if we're able to get into position. What about these receivers? Unimpressive to say the least. This is really a strength of the class. Jacoby Goodwin looks all right. Pretty good athlete. A spectacular catch, B catching, B release, B deep route running. Very good receiver prospect, to be honest. And another Ole Miss receiver. They're a receiver factory of late. You look at, well, Jonathan Mingo this year, of course, but DK Metcalf, A.J. Brown. Who could forget about Elijah Moore and the dog piss celebration? And I know you guys will never forget about DeMarcus Lodge. Is there another relevant Ole Miss receiver I'm missing within like the past half decade? I don't think so. Dude, I'm looking into it. I typed in Ole Miss wide receiver U. They had Van Jefferson. Now, I didn't know Van Jefferson was ever at Ole Miss. I remember him as a Florida Gator. But, yeah, he was a transfer, which is interesting, I guess. Oh, yeah, Laquan Treadwell. Oh, he was so sick before he got injured. He was so good. Okay, I need to go to standings and find somebody outperforming their playbook. 6-1's too many, but I need it to be, like, not super valuable right now. And anyone who has, like, one win is going to be a super tough pick to trade for. The Broncos won the Super Bowl last year, or were in the Super Bowl last year. But I don't know that they're that good in simulation usually. That could be the one. Maybe the Raiders. The Raiders, I think, are usually pretty terrible. Maybe we'll try and trade with them. Raiders do need a left guard. Well, that's where Brady Christensen could come into play. That could definitely happen. Now, we're not going to be able to get a first-round pick just from Brady Christensen. This is not going to be close. But what we could do is add Shaq Thompson to that, who I know, we're winning right now, and he's our Mike linebacker. But what we could do is just move Jeremy Chin over and then have, either Brandon Smith or Camu Grugier-Hill. Like, that's an option. DJ Johnson, of course. I don't think we're ever really going to play him. Gross Matos is expendable because we'd be drafting a defensive end potentially. But we can't really do that right now. We'd have to wait for the draft. But Shaq Thompson, just because he's only going to get worse at 29 years old, that's why I'm looking to trade him. I never talked about Keith Taylor in this video, by the way, but that's a player I like going forward as well. Eric Rowe is a potential trade candidate for me. Ooh, Shaq Thompson is basically going to help us get a first-round pick. I got to do it. I got to look to the future, and the future just doesn't have Shaq Thompson in it really for me. Hate to say it, but he's just going to regress. I've seen it happen too many times. And it's going to take a little bit more than I want to give. But that one does go through. Brady Christensen, Shaq Thompson in a third. It gets me a first-round pick from the Raiders. And we'll see how that goes. Bryce Young is really storming along here. Let's go with Scrambler. Try to get short throw accuracy in there. And some other things could be nice. +2 short throw accuracy. Love that. It's only at an 85 right now. That's unbelievably low. Dante Jackson will upgrade slot. Probably going to get man coverage in there a little bit. +3 man coverage. Kind of a cheat code. I do want zone to be in the 80s, though, as well. Brian Burns, Derek Brown, both going to be free agents. Don't love that, admittedly. Jeremy Chin in there, Frankie Louvu. Just some players I really can't afford to let go. Now, the thing is, like, Bradley Bozeman is probably gone. I should trade Bradley Bozeman, to be honest. CJ Henderson I can bring back. Chenault doesn't really want to be here. Or no, vice versa. Chenault, but do we really want him? Yeah, probably. Yeturgros Matos on a short-term deal, yeah, 2 years is fine. I might end up trading him. And he wants more. All right, Frankie Louvu has been extended, though. 4-year contract for the 26-year-old. Jeremy Chin cannot leave. We're paying him like an edge rusher, dude. Oh, that's so crazy. It's so dumb. It's so dumb the way that works out. And then Brian Burns, we want a long-term extension, of course. So he returns. $69 million in available cap room. That's going to be more than enough to bring back Derek Brown, who doesn't want to be here, wants a mentor at the position. Okay, he doesn't want to be here. We're going to have to figure out a way around that. Maybe I sign a mentor at a free agency if there's one available. We're going to need a linebacker, probably, but there might be a good one available. We could trade like a mid-round pick for a replacement level player. That's also an option. Nick Kwiatkowski's here. That's like an okay stopgap, I suppose. He's not Shaq Thompson, but, you know, we have a first-round pick. We got to do what it takes sometimes. Who want me? Bradley Bozeman, come on. Surely you got to have green interest from somewhere, right? I mean, a little bit, I guess. Trading Bradley Bozeman, Hayden Hurst, and a third this year for a second and a third this year. Probably could have got a first. It just didn't quite feel right. And that's just, you know, you got to trust yourself sometimes. I don't know how the corners can be the strength of the class. They just don't look very good. Kind of how that goes a lot, unfortunately. Christian Flanagan, round 2 to 3 with all A's. And he has elite speed and acceleration. He probably is going to end up being like John Bost from Giants franchise. We've seen this build in the draft before. Block shedding is A to C, though. Maybe a steal down the board, but probably nothing like spectacular. Enrique Carmichael, I'm just really talking myself into. Just because of the physical traits plus the skills. I think it's going to be tough to beat. Oh, the NFC South standings there are no teams. No teams played in the division, which honestly, kind of realistic to be honest. There really aren't any teams there. Also, I like how Hendon Hooker's name is censored. I just caught a glimpse of that. Bryce Young, very good season again. 48-48 for the yards, 39 touchdowns to only 8 interceptions. Miles Sanders, they are just running into the ground, only 3.8 yards per carry. There's like, about 353 of them. Good call from the Panthers coaching staff. Adam Thielen's still getting way too many targets, but he's still an 83 overall. I was going to say like an 80. He's still not bad. I don't know. Maybe we just keep him there. Jonathan Mingo, double-digit touchdown season. Miles Sanders, way too many yards. DJ Chark, Terrace Marshall. We have too many mouths to feed, is the quote. And look at tight end, dude. Tommy Tremble and Austin Lowe kind of splitting with more going to Tommy Tremble. Defensively, J.C. Horn had 100 tackles. Never great when a DB's doing that, or a corner especially. Never good. Derek Brown, 20 tackles for loss, 17 for Burns, 12 for Yeturgros Matos. Sacks, 15 for Burns, 11 for Frankie Louvu, 9.5 for Brown, 7.5 for Gross Matos, and then way more interceptions this year. I think we were just all around a better performing team, despite having the same record in 2023, which really is 2024, as you guys know at this point. It's nice to win 12 games again. Didn't get the first round bye this time around, which is a little unfortunate. Just got to win an extra game now. And we won 0 last year in the playoffs, which is not good, as you guys might know. 0 wins is bad. Write that down. That's good information to remember if you didn't know it. And we'll see if we can beat the Lions here. They are an 81 overall to our 85. We host them in the wild card. And please tell me we're going to beat this team. 49-28. There we go. And maybe in the divisional, I'll jump in this time. Because the Niners are a team you want to look out for. We just upgraded our Penis Eni, though. So we should be ready to plow and take down the San Francisco 49ers. Let's go ahead and jump in. 85 versus, is it 86 for the Niners? Multiple superstar X Factors. This team is ready and raring to go, but we can take them out. We have Bryce Young. Who do they have? Are they even starting Brock Purdy? Is it Trey Lance? God forbid. Is it Sam Darnold? We'll find out. They go up early 7-0. We tie things up at 7, and it seems like offenses are going to be the story of this game. It's 21-14. The Niners just keep on scoring, and that's a big stop for them. But it's 24-21 now into the third quarter. Our offense needs to keep up. That's a huge score. And Brock Purdy is their starter, by the way. 77-yard rush for Miles Sanders. Big touchdown. And unfortunately, that's a huge gain for the Niners. 3rd and 8. 2-minute warning. We are jumping in. We need a stop. This down could ultimately decide the game. What you never want to do late in the game, as I've said a billion times, is go up by 6. You incentivize the other team. They know they need a touchdown, and that should be a fumble. Brian Burns applying the pressure, and they're going to take the field goal, so they're going to go up by 6. So we need a touchdown to win, which means we're not going to play it safe and settle for a field goal. You should absolutely, run the ball on 3rd down there and make it 4th and short and go for it, in my opinion. You burn clock, or you could do, a short pass, a screen or something. I really wouldn't want the clock to stop in that spot, and I'd want to go for it on 4th down, so you don't go up by 6. It's the most dangerous lead in sports, is final 2 minutes in football, up by 6, other team gets the ball after your field goal. It really is not good. Now, Bryce Young's going to wear number 9, not number 1, but he was the number 1 overall pick, so I'm not super upset about it, as we're going to find Tommy Tremble. That's how you start this drive into San Francisco 49er territory already. Clock's ticking, though, just a minute and 15 to play. Is Mingo getting doubled? We're sacked. It's Nick Bosa. You got to call a timeout. Oh, that's a 2-minute warning? No, it's not. Why does it pop up? They totally made me forget this situation. Nick Bosa being in the zone is bad. That's the review. Real bad. Tommy Tremble just open again, though. How are they going to let that beat him twice? Let's go. Hurry up. Let's go. I kind of like that slot fade, though. We're going to just do this. Play a little bit safe. We're sacked. I didn't get the football out. Got to call another timeout. You know, I'm already not the best Madden player, but after not playing for a while, man, I get even worse. The football's got to come out on time. Number 1 rule, Chark sideline, didn't get the feet down. Oh, they're going to call that a catch? That's a bad call. If that gets overturned, it's going to. Yeah, you knew if they were going to review that, it was going to get overturned. He was definitely not in. Maybe we'll try flood here. Bryce Young is in the zone, though. What is his zone ability? Oh, can't get picked. That's kind of nice. Maybe Mingo just to get the yards here. Nope, we're going end zone. Chark with a step. And it gets batted down. 4th and 18. Basically an impossible task here. 18 yards on 4th down. Timeout obviously doesn't matter. I'm just going to throw that. I mean, no run after catch. That was a mistake. Although, looking back at this, I'm not sure what the better option was. Maybe Thielen, but this DB is going to play that. Deshaun Gibson, phenomenal range. I'm actually surprised that he's still in the NFL. I remember him being good with the Browns, years ago. Yeah, Deshaun Gibson was a Pro Bowler with the Browns in 2014. And then signed a contract to go to the Jags in 2016. That was so long ago. Deshaun Gibson has quietly had a decade-plus NFL career. And I'm not saying this was the right decision either, but it's just nothing was open. And I know this outside guy, Chark, I don't know that he ever has an opportunity to get open here. because of this DB. And he breaks down because the ball's already in the air at Tommy Tremble. Yeah, not saying this was the right call. I just don't know that there was a right decision. Maybe a jump ball would have been better. We're eliminated here in the playoffs in the divisional again. Taking, you know, 2 super negative plays really crushed us. 2 sacks just completely annihilated our chances of winning. And we'll head into season 3. And the Cowboys beat the Colts in the Super Bowl. Trevor Lawrence wins MVP. DeMarcus Lawrence wins Super Bowl MVP. As for Rookie of the Year, nothing for us. No Offensive or Defensive Player of the Year. Von Miller always produces in these. I wonder just how good Bill's playbook is. I never really see them winning the Super Bowl in these rebuilds, I feel like. Maybe they do sometimes, but I don't think very often. Now, Bryce Young's already a 91 overall. Pretty incredible. 23 years old, up to Superstar X Factor. I wish his short accuracy was better. I'm going to do Scrambler again. CPU's never going to touch that, so I might as well upgrade it when we have the opportunity. +1 speed, +1 throw accuracy mid. We just can't make him more accurate short range. It's just not possible. Very frustrating. It's just one of those things with quarterback. It's just, it doesn't do it. It's really annoying. Okay, players ready to renegotiate. Witkowski, no. Derek Brown, yes, up to Superstar Dev. I'll franchise tag him if necessary. Matos, I don't really want to give big money to. He just might not want a 2-year deal. Not interested in signing. We'll let him test free agency, I think. Laviska Shenault is going to be nice to have. Bring him back for 4 years. Not a super expensive contract either. CJ Henderson definitely went back as well. Again, not super expensive, so this works for me. CJ Henderson returns. He's good cornerback depth at the very least. And I think he's really our CB3. And then Derek Brown is our superstar on the interior. He's not interested in signing. Per usual, not interested in caring. You're franchise tagged. So what do we need going into free agency? Zavala starts. Patrick, who we drafted, Corbett. Our offensive line's good. Tommy Tremble just starts now over low. Who wouldn't want to spend a top 20 pick on a second string tight end? It is what it is. We could use a receiver. And then defensively, corner, linebacker, defensive line. AJ Terrell is here. So is Chidobe Awuzie. I think AJ Terrell would be a better player for us to get. Steal him from a division rival. Huge upgrade at the position. We have money. Isaiah Simmons would be good too. Shaq Thompson's here. And he's got Superstar Dev. Let's bring Shaq Thompson back. We could do that for 2 years. And he's interested. You know what? All he did, and this happens sometimes, we traded him. And now we're going to bring him back after getting draft capital. Fleece. It's a 2-year deal for Thompson where the money is high. And then Isaiah Simmons, I think, would be very nice. Nolan Smith really shouldn't be there. Turgros Matos is in free agency, but I think I'm really going to go out and draft. And Ed Oliver's there. We always get Ed Oliver. Let's get DJ Reader. Simmons could be the move. But I think we're going to draft a defensive end, so Gross Matos kind of doesn't matter anymore. Let's offer on Isaiah Simmons. No one's really interested in him, so we might be able to steal him for cheap. And then when you look at our targeted players, 4 players all could potentially be starters for us. Let's see how this goes. Terrell's still out there. Simmons still out there. The Jets are in competition now. We got DJ Reader. Who did I not get that I went after? Shaq Thompson. Shaq Thompson signed with the Cincinnati Bengals. Okay. Herbert to the Falcons. That's horrible news. No, they're both gone. We got AJ Terrell. We did not get Isaiah Simmons. So linebacker, and Patrick Queen also signed elsewhere too. Not that I targeted him. Linebacker is going to be a problem for us. For sure. Kaiser White. Sure, maybe. David Long. It's going to have to be David Long. I don't love that, but he wants to be here. He'll be a starter for us probably. Downhill thumper. He could go back to Tennessee. Why do I feel like he's going to? The Lions are in the sweepstakes now. We just got to go very low risk. Just guarantee that we can bring him in. And we did get David Long, so that was worth it. Receiver, we could upgrade, but we're all right. And we know what we like at corner. Corner is going to be a strength of ours for sure. And we could consider moving somebody back to safety. I don't know who would do it, though. So maybe just have good, 4 good corners. So I like the offense. Again, receiver could be better. And then defensively, we are in dire need of an edge rusher. Corner is great. Von Bell is superstar dev now. Linebacker, honestly, is fine. David Long, Jeremy Chin, Frankie Louvu. We got Cam McGrone somehow. Linebacker is actually not too much of an issue with the addition of David Long. Even though he's not great, he's a fine starter, I think you can say. We just need edge. We have no edge depth at all either. None. We're going to offer on Grenard and Carl Granderson. Those will be good depth for us. Steelers now in. We got Grenard. We don't really need Granderson so much, but it wouldn't be the worst thing either. And he's going to Pittsburgh, which is fine. We're going to draft a defensive end probably anyway. And I've put us all in on this top-rated edge rusher. So there really isn't a scenario where we don't draft him. We just have to. Carmichael actually dropped a spot, which could work to our advantage. He's going to be a focus player for us for sure. Might as well do these 3. Goodwin will know his true talent. Flanagan's a good linebacker down the board. And then Carmichael, I think, is hopefully a superstar caliber edge rusher for us. That's what I'm hoping for. And Carmichael's supposed to be the number 1 pick. So it's going to be a challenge. So we pick at 15. Exact middle of the pack. It's going to be a little difficult to trade up. That just is a fact. It's going to be a little bit difficult. They need a quarterback, a right tackle, and a D tackle. I can't really afford to give any of those positions away. I have multiple second-round picks. That's what I could potentially afford to trade. They have Hendon Hooker. Where's Jordan Love? What happened to him? How close are we with that? A first-rounder next year would do it. But they've kind of readjusted to where we actually could be picking. We could always consider a move up as well for that receiver. Give me number 63 and a 4. How about number 63 and a 3 next year? That sounds enticing, doesn't it? Not quite. I'll trade a second next year. This is my best and final offer, and that trade is accepted. 2 2s and a 1 to move up to number 1. And the Panthers, for the second time, have traded up for the number 1 overall pick. Once in real life, once in the game. And Enrique Carmichael from Oklahoma State just has to be the selection. B block shed, A pursuit, B tackle, very good. Physically, very talented. Although apparently there are a ton of right outside linebackers in this class that are phenomenal athletes. Skills, he has A power moves. A finesse moves. The power moves did not stay quite so good. Now I'm curious, how are there so many right outside linebackers that ran incredibly well? Where's Flanagan? 4 5s. I think there's just going to be a bunch of right outside linebackers that all run in the 4 5s. I really don't think they're going to be anyone that touch 4 4. Could be wrong, I guess. But we traded up to number 1 for a reason. Enrique Carmichael, the 23-year-old out of Oklahoma State, is the newest Carolina Panther. Hidden development, gotta love that. 86 speed, 88 acceleration is nice. 82 strength is also really high for an outside linebacker. Enrique Carmichael, I think, is going to be a really solid player for us. We'll start immediately at right defensive end. And where is this receiver supposed to go? Because that could be a player worth trading up for if we don't have to move up a ton to get him. And we actually might not. Jacoby Goodwin currently is slated to go at 20. Having the 15th pick would be nice right around now. That just might be a player we have to pass on, unfortunately. There's another receiver. This receiver has made it to 16. Is he going to get much beyond the Texans? That's the question. He is the last receiver on the board. His true talent is round 1 to 2. So it's not like this guy is a superstar per se. And I guess these receivers do look kind of good down the board. Didn't really look at them too much, but Manny Florence looks pretty good. Good athlete as well. Great speed. He ran in the 4.2s. That's elite. He's really got A's all over the place. Medium route running's an F, which I don't love. C catch in traffic, which I don't love. C short route running is fine. Leslie Elliott also looks very good. Elite strength at receiver. Route running's pretty good. Not amazing. Catching's pretty good. Maybe better than pretty good. And then the last receiver I would consider, based on the attributes there, is Demetrius Shivers. Also a very good athlete. I don't know that we have to trade up for a receiver now, because I'm comfortable with some of these guys down the board a little bit. Not like far down the board, but these 4 receivers, I'd be comfortable drafting any of them if we want to go that way. But I also like the linebacker, Christian Flanagan, who will be my second round pick if he makes it there. So I might end up trading a first round pick to move up in the first round for one of these receivers. And they are lasting on the board. Still, here's Atlanta at 20. Surely they would take one of them. There goes Manny Florence. Do I take a receiver? That's going to be the big question. They're kind of lasting on the board a little bit. Now, I don't know who's the best out of the bunch. It's tough to say with receiver this year more than ever. And when I say this year, I mean Madden 23, not this particular draft class. Leslie Elliott looks really good. Really solid. Maybe the worst of the bunch, Demetrius Shivers I really liked. Well-rounded, really good athlete. Solid player. I think that Jacoby Goodwin might be the best of the bunch, but it's not like his route running is anything spectacular. He's kind of more like that gadget, well, maybe slot player. I think they're all going to be like round 1 to 2 talent. Medium route running at F is really my main holdup with him. All right, I'm doing it again. Making moves to win now. Trading a first next year for a first this year. Also sending a third, and I think it was a fourth to move up to 22. I think we're going to take the receiver I talked about. Now, I could really see us making like the wrong decision here, because I really do think Demetrius Shivers is quite good. But we have a lot of that type of receiver. 6'4"-ish. You know, we have Terrace Marshall, who's big and not so fast, even though Shivers is fast. Jacoby Goodwin is just faster. I can see an immediate slot starter, ran in the 4.2s, and has a spectacular catch. Catching's a B, release is a B, deep route running's a B. It's a deep threat to add to our team. I can see the other guys being really good too. He is our pick. Of course, he has normal dev. Anyone I trade up for is not going to be that good. 92 agility, though. 93 excel, 95 speed, 87 change of direction, 89 jumping. Very good player, I think. But the question is, like, is he the best of the bunch at the position? Please keep the linebacker on the board. I'm not even going to try and pronounce that last name. That just seems like a disaster. Demetrius Shivers is on the board still. I was really going to move up for the linebacker, but I didn't expect that to be the case. Solomon Sherrills also looks interesting depending on the athleticism. It's pretty good. I think he's going to be solid, but I don't think he's going to be quite as good. I think the linebacker is this. Oh, he's off the board. Because of course he is. All right, let's take Demetrius Shivers. Let's see what I would have had with the other first round pick, or with the first round pick had I decided to draft him instead. He has hidden development. Also a very good athlete, 93 speed, 94 jumping, 91 change of direction, and acceleration with 90 agility. Yeah. So, I guess we did come away with both. Missed out on the linebacker, who might have been in a position to start for us. We'll see if he ends up being any good. 2 receivers. Didn't expect that. Enrique Carmichael is a 77. Both receivers are the same overall at 74, by the way. CPU took a 71 overall defensive tackle. The 5th, which isn't terrible. I'm curious about some of these other players in the class. Carmichael is not the number 1 player. He's number 2 behind a safety, Benjamin Andrews from Georgia. He looks pretty good. I'd be pretty happy with that pick. I mean, a 78 overall is exceedingly rare in the draft nowadays. I just wonder about the off-ball linebacker. Greg Golston was not the guy. Quincy Weaver's who the Packers took. I mean, surely he was a 2nd round pick. There he is. 2 picks ahead of us. Christian Flanagan is a 74 normal dev player. Good athlete. Looks like a pretty good player. I'm not super pissed because he has normal development. But I don't know what to do with these receivers. I have more 74s than I know what to do with. I'll tell you, Goodwin, normal dev is sad. Great deep right running, great spectacular catch. Can I trade Adam Thielen for... I don't even know what you trade him for. A linebacker, I guess? Carmichael's going to move down to the defensive end. He is going to start... He's got 81 finesse moves. Quite nice. I would say that's about what I expected, I guess. Where's block shedding? 73. It's all right. I don't think he's generational by any means. Obviously, he's only a 78 overall, which isn't bad. But I think he's going to be real solid for us. We'll start at right end. And, I mean, we have good athleticism there on both sides. 77 overall at that spot. It's not terrible. It really isn't. Frankie Louvu is not going to play over him. There's just no way. I think Adam Thielen should be traded, though. I'd like to get like a really good linebacker in return. That might be a little bit difficult. We have so many receivers. DJ Chark, I'd be down to trade as well. Laviska Shenault, a 3 and a 5 gets me a 2 from the Giants, which I have plans for. Shenault, I just don't know that he's going to feature this year. We drafted a couple of receivers. I want to get them involved. We know Jonathan Mingo is going to play. We know Terrace Marshall is going to play. And I'm trying to trade DJ Chark and Adam Thielen. I'm clearing out this receiver room, and that second round pick is going to help me get an immediate upgrade at a position I want to upgrade, which is linebacker. It's going to be Devin White from the Tampa Bay Bucks. He's apparently asked for a trade in real life, which is interesting. I don't think the Bucks have any intention of granting that request. And I added in James Morgan to make it work for cap, and that trade is accepted. I tinkered around with it quite a bit. That's how I knew how that was going to be accepted. Whole reason I got the second round pick was to get Devin White. And we have better depth at linebacker now, but obviously with Devin White, we have a significantly better starter than David Long, at least in the game in terms of overall. And he's a superstar X Factor, which I'm only just finding out now, which is obviously really nice. Younger player still, 26 years old, going to develop nicely. He's basically an 86 overall, so close to being upgraded, and morale's affecting him. That's going to be a really nice addition for us. So receiver's been cleared out. I get it, but we still have good players there. Shiver me timbers, man. He's going to play. Route running's all pretty good. I like the catching. I like the athleticism. Let's make him receiver too. Then we'll have Terrace Marshall, Goodwin, who we drafted, and then Shi Smith. That's a better setup for us. I know we're losing Thielen. Chark wasn't really going to matter. And then defensively, I like the way the defense looks. Just Frankie Louvu cannot be a rush end. Cannot happen. And it's not that he can't be good in that role, because he is a good pass rusher. It's just that I would very much prefer the number 1 overall pick to do that, and he's currently not. So Carmichael, you are now in that role. 81 finesse moves is just better. Louvu's got better block shed, better tackling, better hit power, better pursuit. But Carmichael is also 23 years old, where Louvu's like 29 in game. The 4-2 at the midseason mark is a very slight step back. I don't really think it means much. We're still atop the NFC South. I just think the other teams have maybe got a little bit better, although the Falcons are still only an 82 overall. Carmichael only has star development, by the way. A little bit unfortunate, but that's all right. I don't know how we don't know the development trait of Shivers yet. He should be playing a lot. He's developing somewhat nicely, already up to a 76 overall, and it's only week 8. So I'm really not too upset about that. He might be an 80 overall by the time the regular season is over. And it's not elite by any means, but it puts us in a good position long term. Derek Brown still doesn't want to be here. I think eventually he will accept a very low risk offer, where for me it's just loading up on the years and the money. And he, of course, accepts. Miles Sanders, same deal. We'll extend him. I know it's another contract for a running back, but he's only 27 in Madden. It's not the worst thing. Von Bell we want back as well. He is a starter for us. Going to be a little bit difficult to replace him. JC Horn, super important as well. I mean, a lot of these starters are just hugely important to us. The very few players are popping up that are easily replaceable. Maybe Dante Jackson is, as we re-sign Austin Corbett. But we probably want to keep him. I think a 3-year deal is fine. He's 28. Takes him into his age 31 season. That's fine. Another wild card game for us. Why do we have to play the Niners? Why can't we get somebody not good at all? That would be nice. Bryce Young continues to perform. 4,700 yards passing, 45 touchdowns to only 9 interceptions. He is now a 95 overall, playing up to a 98. Accuracy, pretty great. Wish it were better at short ranges, which it's good in real life, but not in the game. Miles Sanders, career year, 4.4 yards per carry. You'd love to see. Receiving, Jonathan Mingo, very solid. Demetrius Shivers had a great year. Tommy Tremble was awesome. Terrace Marshall was cool. Jacoby Goodwin did have 4 touchdowns on 12 catches. Pretty incredible. He was really a true deep threat for us. 16.2 yards per catch is awesome. And then defensively, Devin White led us in tackles, Chin right behind him. 21 TFLs for Derek Brown, also at 8 sacks. The rookie Enrique Carmichael led the way with 13. Burns with 11. We might have a legitimate pass rush here. And then 5 picks for White and Terrell. 4 for Jackson. We're just stealing from the NFC South and building our team. I know Devin White, interdivisional trade, whatever. They wanted to trade him. Sometimes it's mutually beneficial. Please beat the Niners in the wild card. Please, dude. I can't take a loss here. I can't. Please give me a win. 31-24. All right. The Rams are an 81 overall and probably are going to eliminate us from the playoffs, and that's devastating. Let's do slot for Shivers. Going to make him a more well-balanced player. Got some decent upgrades. He's only star dev, unfortunately. The Rams are an 81 overall and went 12-5. I'm not messing around with any of their voodoo magic with Sean McVay. We're jumping in, and we will play if we have to. Didn't work out great season 1, but that's okay. Or season 2 it was, actually. We're up 3-0. Rams can't find the scoreboard here. Now 10-0. Now 17-0. Rams finally with a touchdown. Makes it 17-7. But our offense is really not slowing down a ton. It's 24-7 right now. Our defense is playing really well. 31-7, 31-15. Not going to be enough for the Rams in the end. That's your final. 34-15. We're moving on to the NFC Championship. And Bryce Young has finally did what we have drafted him to do. Get us within a game of the Super Bowl. And then, obviously, you know what happens from there. Bryce Young with another upgrade, by the way. Scrambler. Give me short throw accuracy. Please, +2. +2. All right. I mean, ask and you shall receive. It's playing up to a 90 currently. It's not actually a 90, but it is for the purposes of us right now in this playoff run, which is nice. 1 game away. We are playing a very bad team by overall, but you never know. They are an 80. No, I thought they were an 81. Maybe I misread. I thought they were an 81. 86 overall for the Commanders. Their defense is incredible. Offense, not so much. But they do have Scary Terry. Got to look out. They're up early, 7-0. Commanders tie it at 7, though. We retake the lead 14-7 after another touchdown. Now 21-14 after Commanders score. Very close game here. We're up by 2 touchdowns, but the Commanders are being shut down. Oh my goodness. There was a huge play that stopped them from scoring, but they got the football back and scored nearly instantly. And Johnny Hecker just punted the football. That's not good. 1 minute and 34 seconds on the clock. Season on the line. Commanders need a touchdown to tie it, plus the extra point, obviously. We got to do whatever it takes not to allow that. Brissett is their starting quarterback, and Jacoby has thrown an interception in this game. 3rd and 10. Get pressure. Brissett! Oh my goodness, what a play by Dante Jackson. Look at the vertical. I thought for sure that was going to be a completion down the sideline. Was not to be. Great defense. 4th and 10 for the Commanders. Season comes down to this. Come on. Did I line up offsides? I think I lined up offsides. They got a free play. Good defense from Terrell. It'll make it 4th and 5. This could be a huge, huge pain. All right, season officially comes down to this now. 4th and 5. Still not easy to convert. Going over the middle. Oh my goodness, how do we miss the hit stick? How do we miss that? Let me replay it, please. How does that even happen, dude? I can't even look at the replay. They're not letting me because they know they cheated me. The slot's wide open. Where's Xavier Woods? Unreal. Unreal. 45 seconds, 3 timeouts. Just getting to field goal range. Throwing down the sideline. Marshall makes the catch. That could be the game. That could be the game. 3rd and 2. That's a good enough route. Shivers, just get us in position to kick the game winner. Bryce Young throwing for 340 plus yards, 2 touchdowns. Shivers has 12 catches for 116, by the way. Call a final timeout, and we'll kick us to a Super Bowl. Eddie Pinheiro doesn't miss these. Oh, and we got the meter. It's GG. Thanks for playing. Bye-bye, Commanders. Left arm up. Going home. And we are moving on to the Super Bowl. Super Bowl time. The Raiders are who we face. Ike Ekwonu going to be up to an 87 overall, 88 with morale. Did he go up to Superstar Dev, or did he have that? Surely he already had that. Enrique Carmichael going to get a nice little boost to his run defense here, playing up to an 83 overall. Plus 3 block sheds. Good. He's up to Superstar Dev, I'm assuming, because he won Defensive Rookie of the Year, and he did. Abilities here. We'll do Defensive Rally. He's going to turn into a stud, surely. Finesse moves up to an 88. Block shedding's playing up to an 82 right now. Had I known that, I might have actually gone for just Speed Rusher. Let's take a look at the final team as we go into the Super Bowl. Very good looking squad. Did Icky always have Superstar? It just seems weird with him having it on the line, but he may have already had it. Shivers, Star Dev, we knew that. And then defensively, Derek Brown up to Superstar X Factor. Burns too, if he didn't already have it. Which, I think he did. Do edge threat. The defense looks really nice. Like, yeah, the normal dev kind of looks a little gross with Frankie Louvu and Xavier Woods. But overall, all in all, team looks very, very nice. 88 overall. Our defense is really strong. Our offense has some playmakers, and they're only getting better. Raiders out to an early 3-0 lead, but we take the lead after a touchdown. First touchdown of the game. We answer with a field goal. Following that, Raiders tie things up as we near closer to halftime. It's 20-10 now in the second half. 27-10. Raiders not out of it yet. Make it a 10-point game, but our offense will not stop. And, oh my goodness. We just missed an opportunity there. We'll take a field goal to make it a 20-point game. And they turn over the ball? I think they did. Jalen Hurts sacked for a 6-yard loss on 4th and 4. And then Bryce Young finds Demetrius Shivers for a 20-yard touchdown. And I got bad news for you, Raiders. It's over. We're going to win the Super Bowl. 3 turnovers by Jalen Hurts and the Raiders. And that's going to do it. I mean, we'll try to make a big play happen here. I'll just check down. That's a big play. Oh, huge. Last play of the game. Lobbing it up. Mingo! And Jonathan Mingo puts the cherry on top of the sundae. Lombardi Trophy coming back to Carolina. Charlotte, North Carolina just got a big one. Jonathan Mingo from Bryce Young to win the Super Bowl. Can you ask for anything more if you're a Panthers fan? That's the ultimate dream. 50 burger. 50-17 is your final scoreline, and that is the rebuild. Bryce Young throws for 4 touchdowns, and I want to thank you guys for watching the video. Hopefully you enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next one. Take it easy.